Hello, my name is Tim. I'm in Southampton. It's a beautiful morning and I'm about to join Cunard, Queen Elizabeth for a 2-week cruise to Madeira, the Canaries, Gibraltar and Lisbon. I hope you enjoy the trip. Soon we'll be docking in Madeira for our first port of call.
No, we have to go out now.
Cunard provide shuttle buses and it's a short 10-minute drive to the drop-off point in the centre. Today we're on shore in Funchal in Madeira. Let's have a look around the town together. This is the main high street in Funchal. Lots of shops specialising particularly in shoes and leatherware. Lots of people out and about today shopping. A good thing about Funchal is there is certainly no shortage of taxis. There is a beautiful tree-lined walkway that runs through the centre of Funchal with wonderful mosaic paving all the way through. Madeira is also well known for its embroidery and lace. We're at the famous farmers market. Let's go and have a look at the flowers, the fruit and veg and all the fish. Madeira is of course famous for its bottles of Madeira. The market is a blaze of colour with an extraordinary selection of fruit and vegetables available to buy. The fish market is well known for a local delicacy, which is the scary looking scabbard fish, often served with banana. We're in port in Madeira for 2 days, which gives us an overnight opportunity to come back into the town and have a drink and dinner. Funchal at night was very quiet, but still lovely to have a stroll around and enjoy the evening. Queen Elizabeth looking glorious lit up on the dockside. This is the beautiful view of Funchal lit up in our overnight stay in port. It's not a bad view to wake up to as we start the second day of our trip to Funchal. Funchal is famous for its cable cars to take you up the hillside. It's where you can access the botanical gardens and also if you'd like to do the famous toboggan ride down the hill. The cable car is €11 per adult, so let's jump on board and have a look. The cable car takes you high above Funchal with spectacular views, but if you're scared of heights, it's not a good idea. The cable car takes about 20 minutes to reach the top, where you'll find the tropical gardens. You have to pay to enter if you'd like to have a look around. Madeira is famed for its bird of paradise flowers, absolutely beautiful. Madeira does get quite a bit of rainfall, but with the all year round warm temperatures, it helps to keep the island lush and green. Beautiful and exotic flowers wherever you look. When you get to the top, you can of course take one of the world famous toboggan rides back down the hillside. The toboggan rides reach quite a speed, so they're not for the faint-hearted, but it is lots of fun and an experience unique to Madeira. Above the area where the toboggan ride set off, there are steps leading up to a spectacular church with far-reaching views all over Madeira. We've decided to get the cable car back down. We've done the toboggan ride on a previous trip. You literally pass over the rooftops of the houses beneath you and you get a panoramic view of Funchal. You also get a wonderful bird's eye view of the Queen Elizabeth docked in the harbour in the centre of Funchal. There are lovely gardens right by the dockside and you can get a great view looking back at Queen Elizabeth. Funchal is full of little streets and cobbled alleyways with restaurants and cafes and bars. Some of the buildings in the centre of Funchal have a colonial feel to them and showcase the heritage and the history of the island. There's always a warm welcome as you return back to the ship. Sadly, after 2 glorious days in Madeira, it's time to set sail and wave goodbye to Funchal as it disappears into the distance. It's been a great visit and hopefully one day we'll be back. Today we're visiting our second port of call. It's the port of Santa Cruz in Tenerife in the Canary Islands. The ship docks very close to the centre of Santa Cruz, so there are no shuttle buses provided by Cunard. It's a short walk into the main shopping and downtown area, but there are also taxis waiting outside the cruise terminal. It's always wonderful to get a chance to see the Queen Elizabeth up close. Magnificent. You can see how close the Queen Elizabeth is docked to the centre of the town. Just a few minutes walk after you get off the ship, there's this lovely street covered with a canopy of trees of bars and restaurants. A lot of people out and about today shopping and the cafes are really buzzing. Lots of the shops were having sales whilst we were visiting, so lots of opportunities to get a bargain. The centre of Santa Cruz is very accessible from the cruise dock. We've only walked about 20 minutes and we're right in the heart of the town. Lots of shops and cafes, nice gardens and squares. It's the first time we've been to this particular port, so we're just having an easy day, relaxing and wandering the streets and exploring. The Canary Islands are famed for their all-year-round good weather, and even though it's very early February, it's about 25 degrees and it's lovely and warm and sunny here in Tenerife. There seems to be music playing wherever you go in Santa Cruz, which provides a lovely rhythm as you're strolling around the town. There's a big market in Santa Cruz, so we're going in to have a look. The market is set around a huge courtyard on 2 levels, with lots of small shops and market stalls selling a vast variety of items, from pets to wines, meats, cheeses, and a big selection of fresh produce and fruit. Downstairs is the fish market with a huge selection of fresh fish, but there are also some little eateries, and you can select the fish or the shellfish that you would like to have, and they will prepare it for you to eat there. Close to the exit at the market, there is a large contemporary art gallery if you'd like to visit. There is definitely no shortage of places to stop and have a glass of wine and enjoy some tapas. We've had a great day exploring Santa Cruz. Lots to do, lovely little town, lots of cafes, bars, shops, lovely to potter about in the sunshine. Beautiful weather here down by the marina in Santa Cruz. It's time to finish our visit in Santa Cruz and make our way back to board the ship. The sun is starting to set here in Santa Cruz in Tenerife. We've had a lovely day exploring the town. We'll be sailing away in about half an hour and looking forward to our next port of call, Gran Canaria. Today we're visiting our second port of call in the Canary Islands, which is Las Palmas. We're disembarking the ship this morning to have a look around Las Palmas. It's only about a 10-minute walk into the centre, so Cunard don't provide shuttle buses. The first thing you come to is a large shopping area if you want to do a little bit of shopping. We've just got off the ship in Gran Canaria, and the sightseeing hop-on, hop-off bus is right by the docks, just about a 10-minute walk from the ship. So we're going to do that today and explore the area. There are 11 different stops to visit on the bus trip. It takes an hour to do a whole circuit, and the buses pick up and drop off every 15 minutes. You're given a map of the different stops, and there is also an audio guide with headphones whilst you're on the bus. We've jumped off the bus at the Old Town and we're exploring the cobbled streets. The Old Town is by far the most attractive part of Las Palmas, so if you're spending a day in port, I suggest you pay it a visit and have a good look round and enjoy. Whilst we were there, we stumbled across a little street market, so a good spot if you want to do a little bit of browsing and pick up a souvenir of your trip in Gran Canaria. There were also several nice cafes and bars if you want to have a coffee or a beer in one of the squares or one of the side streets. It's always nice to see beautiful oranges growing in the trees. After strolling around the quaint little streets of the Old Town, you then get a surprise as you come across this very grand square with a magnificent cathedral. When we visited, the cathedral was open and it was free to enter and have a look around. They were just starting one of the services, so we were able to watch the first part of Mass and enjoy part of the service. We're here on a Sunday, so the streets are very quiet, but it's lovely having the Old Town to ourselves. Just off the main square, we found a quiet area with a beautiful monument and fountain. lucky enough to be enjoying another lovely warm and sunny day in Las Palmas in Gran Canaria. Continuing on our trip on the open-top bus, it was time to leave the old town and see some other parts of Las Palmas. The bus tour takes you along the seafront where you get a great view of the marina and also a lovely view of Queen Elizabeth docked. Not far from the port area, we came across a very lively market that was part bric-a-brac and sort of antique second-hand items. Also lots of clothes on offer, huge number of fake handbags and fake trainers, so if that's what you're looking for, it's a place to go. It was fun having a look around and soaking up the atmosphere. Las Palmas also has a lively beach area, about a 20-minute walk from the ship, so if you fancy a stroll on the beach or swim, you can do. After our day looking around Las Palmas, it was time to make our way back to the ship, ready for sail away and to head off for an evening and overnight sailing to Lanzarote for our next port of call. Today we're visiting our third and final island in the Canary Islands, Lanzarote. Cunard provides shuttle buses, but notice the spelling mistake. It's a very short journey on the shuttle bus and you're dropped by a tourist information centre, but note it's still quite a long walk into the centre of town. Today we're in Arrecife in Lanzarote. It has a very different feel to the other Canary Islands we've been to so far, with its dark volcanic landscape and its whitewashed houses. We found the main high street in the town if you'd like to do some shopping, although it's a fairly limited selection, although there were some interesting old buildings. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount to do in Arrecife. There's some shopping and cafes and we're having a walk along the promenade. If you keep walking along the promenade of Arrecife, you eventually come to a beach for you to enjoy with some cafes and bars to sit at. The water was absolutely crystal clear and teeming with fish. Hopefully you can see them. One of the nicest spots in Arrecife is a beautiful church set in a square with palm trees and a wonderful cross memorial. The church is free to enter and well worth a look inside. We started walking our way back to the ship. Once you get to the marina, there's a stretch of market stalls and some quite smart shops and boutiques and restaurants if you'd like to have a coffee or a drink a bit closer to the ship. We're just getting ready for sail away to leave Arrecife in Lanzarote. If all you want to do is have a stroll into town and have a coffee and a beer, then the town is absolutely fine. We found it a little bit limited with the things to see and do. If we find ourselves in this port again, we'll definitely do one of the organised tours and go and have a look at something a bit further afield on the island. Sail away party is in full swing. Farewell Lanzarote and the last of the 3 Canary Islands we're visiting on this cruise. We have a sea day tomorrow before our next port of call, Gibraltar. We've arrived in Gibraltar. We've only got a half day this morning to see the sights, so we're heading into town to have a look. As you leave the ship behind you and the cruise docks and head into the main shopping district, it takes you about a 15 to 20 minute walk, depending on how fast a walker you are. Once you've walked from the ship, you get towards the town centre and you go through these gates which take you into the main high street. Once you've gone through the gates, you come into an open square with lots of cafes that you can sit and have a coffee. And you have the rock standing majestically above you. If you're not taking one of the organised tours around Gibraltar, you'll probably head to the main shopping high street. There's a big variety of shops. There's lots of cheap alcohol, cigarettes, perfume, clothes, watches, a big selection for you to have a look at. The advantage of shopping in Gibraltar is it's duty-free. British travellers will certainly recognise some familiar names from back home. Once you've passed the main shopping part of the high street, keep walking because the top end of the high street is a lot more interesting. That's where you can see a lot more of the historical buildings and churches to have a look at. The Catholic Cathedral of St Mary the Crowned looks very grand from the outside, although we didn't go in, but we did have a look at a beautiful little side chapel next door. Gibraltar is well known for its Barbary apes that live on the rock. There are no end of monkey toys to buy. It's a bit weird walking around with English telephone boxes and post boxes. It certainly has a feel at home, but also a little bit of an exotic twist to it. It was time to start making our way back down the high street through the main part of Gibraltar to have a last look at the rock close up as we made our way back to the cruise terminal. There are lots of bargains to be found on the high street, but we also found the duty-free centre at the cruise terminal had some good deals. One of the great things about visiting Gibraltar on a cruise ship is you get a great view of the rock from on deck. So our morning in Gibraltar has come to an end and we are now sailing away for the afternoon and overnight voyage to Lisbon. As the Rock of Gibraltar fades into the distance and we sail away, it's fascinating going through the main shipping lane of the Gibraltar Straits and to see Africa just on the other side. The ship docks alongside the centre of Lisbon, so you get a great view of the city from on deck. Even as you disembark the ship and you make your way through the cruise terminal, you get a great view of the city. As you exit the cruise terminal, there is the option to book an open-top bus tour around Lisbon. Or you have the option to get the Cunard shuttle bus or simply walk into the centre of Lisbon by yourself. If you take the shuttle bus, it takes you about 15 minutes and it drops you close to the Avenida Palace Hotel. We've arrived in Lisbon. The shuttle bus takes you into one of the main squares in the centre of the city, and then you can explore and have a look around. You'll see lots of tuk-tuks buzzing around the city, which you can book for a city tour. Close to where the shuttle bus drops you off, you'll see the funicular with its bright coloured graffiti. It's a fun way to help you get up the hills in Lisbon. Can't come to Lisbon without a ride on one of the trams. If you take the tram to the top, you reach a square with a lovely view looking over Lisbon. It's well worth a trip up to help you get a panoramic bird's eye view of the city. A lot of the pavements in Lisbon have beautiful mosaic paving, but they can become very slippery. Another feature we saw throughout the city were the beautiful tiled facades to many of the buildings and houses. You can even buy a tile to take home with you. There is a grandeur to a lot of the buildings in Lisbon, so make sure you look up and enjoy the architecture. Been to Lisbon a few times, but this is our favourite cafe for pastel de nata. They serve them warm and they're absolutely delicious. As you stroll around Lisbon, you'll enjoy the vibrancy of the city with street performances, cafes, squares and markets. An important landmark in Lisbon is the Elevador de Santa Justa. It's now a tourist attraction, but it was an important elevator to take passengers up to higher ground. We've been to Lisbon a few times. It's a really manageable city. It's very easy to walk around and explore. If you're interested in art and history, Lisbon has a wealth of art galleries and museums for you to explore. A popular attraction is the Castelo de São Jorge, with its ramparts, watchtowers and gardens overlooking the city. As well as sightseeing, don't forget to indulge in a little bit of cafe culture and shopping. The biggest plaza in Lisbon is the Praça de Comércio, or Commercial Square in English. It's one of the largest squares in Portugal and faces the harbour. It's on the site of the old royal palace before it was destroyed by the earthquake of 1755, and at the centre stands the equestrian statue of Joseph. When it's time to head back to the ship, it's only about a 10-minute walk from the main square in the centre of Lisbon. It's a gentle stroll along the waterfront to get back to the ship, and when you get back to the cruise terminal, there's an opportunity to do some last-minute shopping to buy some gifts and souvenirs before you board. The sail away from Lisbon offers some wonderful views looking back over the city. As we pull out of Lisbon, we cruise down the Tagus River and we go under the spectacular bridge named the 25th of April Bridge. You get an excellent view of the Christ the King statue with its outstretched arms overlooking the Tagus as you go under the bridge. The river is tidal and there's only a tight clearance for Queen Elizabeth to get under the bridge. Everyone was on deck for the exciting moment when Queen Elizabeth passed underneath the bridge. It houses a railway and an expressway and emits a very loud humming noise as you go past. We're soon going to be sailing away from Lisbon, and that's our last port of call on this cruise. Very sad that all the different ports have now finished, but we've got a lovely couple of days at sea still to enjoy, and looking forward to finishing off the last part of the cruise. Our cruise on Queen Elizabeth is gradually coming to an end, but we've had a wonderful time. 2 weeks seems like a long time at the beginning, but of course it always goes too quickly. But we've been to some fantastic new destinations, made some wonderful new friends, and eaten far too much food. But it's been a great trip and we thoroughly enjoyed being on board. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my cruise, and I hope you will join me on my next trip. Thank you. All too soon, we were watching the sunrise in Southampton and having our last breakfast before disembarking and waving the Queen Elizabeth goodbye. Thank you again for watching. It's free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can join me on some more of my travels. Thank you.